Life can change in an instant. For many wheelchair users, the struggle to push forward is a daily challenge.
After years of development and countless prototypes, we created Rib Grips, the revolutionary wheelchair hand rim covers with built-in ribs for ultimate grip and comfort.
No more slick surfaces, no more heat burns, just pure, reliable grip. Rib Grips, empowering you to push forward with ease. Rib Grips, get a grip on your freedom. Discover the difference. Visit ribgrips.com and use promo code GRIP today.
In a world where dreams meet reality, there exists a place where your business can flourish. That place is Shopify. Imagine having the power to craft your online store with tools that make it as easy as a gentle breeze. Whether you're an artisan of handmade wonders, a creator of digital treasures, or a curator of the latest trends, Shopify stands by your side. With its customizable templates, seamless integrations, and support that's always there, your dream store is just a heartbeat away. Join millions of visionaries around the globe and let Shopify guide you on your journey. Visit roguemedianetwork.com/Shopify. That's roguemedianetwork.com/SHOPIFY. And embark on your free trial. Shopify, where your commerce dreams come to life.
I am Rachel Ruth Tate, and this is Text Astrology. A very warm howdy and hello to everybody out there. This is Rachel Ruth speaking, your favorite Waco-based podcasting astrologer, coming to you from the Rogue Media Network studios in the heart of Texas. Today's episode has us talking a full moon lunar eclipse in Scorpio, the 8th sign in the zodiac, ruled by Mars and represented by the Scorpion. This lunation provides the Scorpio end cap to the series of eclipses, which have been happening along the Taurus and Scorpio axis since November 19th of 2021. This is the very last one in this sign until next go around years from now, folks. And this full moon lunar eclipse is not total. It happens at 14 degrees of Scorpio, which is 11 degrees from the actual lunar node, or that total eclipse point, which makes this a penumbral lunar eclipse, meaning the sun, earth, and moon are 11 degrees from being in perfect alignment, and thus only the outer part of the earth's shadow will shade the face of this eclipsed full moon in Scorpio, which makes a much less intense eclipse than if the moon were at the dark center of the Earth's shadowy umbra. But this eclipse will be no less strange or fated. So now that we know what we are literally dealing with here at a baseline, let's do like Scorpio and get right to the soul of things in deep. The moon falls in Scorpio, period. And the moon's ruler Mars is currently fallen in Cancer also. So the moon and its ruler are both fallen, but they mutually receive each other. A little mitigation, but not amazing. A lot of potential ouch. And why is the moon fallen and penetrating Scorpio? I know you're wondering. In my experience, it is because the moon here feels so deeply and truly as to almost impede its own primary felt sense significations. Basically, it's so sensitive to the environment that it often simply hurts all the time. And Scorpio moon natives often have a profound understanding of pain through their lived experience. Pain being just as true as love, war being just as true as peace. We need Mars and Venus both truly. They are requisite for mutual definition. And I'm digressing. So the moon's ruler is fallen, active Mars in emotional Cancer. And what will that blend feel like? I know you're wondering. Fallen and mutually exchanging. It will feel like quite a lot, frankly. A lot of feeling. Yes. Cue all the waterworks and pull out your puffs. This being a final South Node karmic drain letting go style eclipse, I have a feeling that life is going to force us to sense in such depth and potentially such extremity that we are going to have no choice but to let go of what we need to let go of. It will just hurt too much to hold on to, or simply not be possible to act out because of being emotionally drained around the Scorpio subject in your life. Mars in Cancer will honor necessity above all when push comes to shove, because emotional survival mode overrides here with Mars in Cancer. And I know that you're also wondering about the closest planetary aspect to this full moon eclipse, since we've already gone over the sign the moon occurs in and the condition of its ruler in the transit sky. Well, the closest planet to this jam going down at 14 degrees of Scorpio is Uranus. Surprise, it's always outer planet palooza when the fates get super involved and the sands of time strongly shift in space. So yes, shock jock disruptive force Uranus is making an opposition to the moon as it loosely conjoins the sun at 14 degrees of Taurus from Uranus's own place at 18 degrees of Taurus. So what surprises to expect, if you can expect surprises? Well, the surprise is going to be of a Venusian nature. The sun and Uranus in Taurus are about sudden natural change and desire, or perhaps novel yearnings that come up in place of failed endeavors and the bones of their former plans. This is definitely a future-leaning eclipse that insists that we let go of what has passed, of what has died. And some of that includes things we have clung to, maybe childish wishes or naive dreams, or just a false sense of security we've carried as a blanket. Whatever it is, Mercury is retrograding 6 degrees in the other direction at 8 degrees of Taurus, making me think that a mental as well as emotional shift is on tap for this eclipse. 6 degrees still makes a traditional conjunction. So maybe we are detoxing from toxic things that we've taken in. Or maybe finally leaning away from the materialism that is the church of our time. Or leaving the job that doesn't fulfill us but ticks boxes for somebody. Or maybe we're choosing to prioritize health and real well-being in a debauched society that has us idolizing people with butt injections and major binge drinking problems and clothes that probably cost more than most cars. Yeah, there is a highly personal conflict brewing. A new eclipse series is coming up as this one closes. And it's the struggle for our own souls and individual pursuits as sovereign beings, and letting go of a false sense of peace that keeps some of us shackled for the sake of polite society, for the sake of not rocking the boat. That's what's coming up, the North Node in Aries, South Node in Libra eclipses. Those will be about how we rebalance the socially standard customs and relational agreements and quit the auto-repression that is some strange combination of self-obsession and self-denial that has us questioning everything, most especially ourselves. It has our heads up our ass, quite frankly. And we have to spiritually pull out of the echo chamber of opinions and into the realm of true agency and action. To get ready for that, we have to let go of our old goals, to let go of how we thought it would work, where we thought we would be by now, what we had planned so meticulously to do. The South Node of drainage and karmic cleansing is finishing out its time in Scorpio, guys. This is our last eclipsed moon there. So we are releasing the obsessions and addictions that we've developed along our toxic way, because culture is pretty toxic these days, and it's up to us to let go of the trauma that we have acquired on the road from then to now. No matter whose fault the hurt is, the healing is always on us as adults. Our healing is always on us. Wounded healer asteroid Chiron has been hanging out in Aries, preparing us for this very shift. Listen, an eclipsed moon in Scorpio ultimately knows heartbreak is real, period. It knows some level of personal betrayal is unavoidable, always. But it also knows truth from lie. And it knows how much out there is actually trying to lie, cheat, and steal. Like, look at all the telemarketers and identity theft. It knows how much bullshit there actually really is out in the world. And it is there, just as much as any beauty ever was. That's the essence of duality, and it's well represented by the number 8. Remember, Scorpio is the 8th sign, the infinity flipped on its head. One side is a reflection of the other, just like we are, just like things have to be to exist. Spectrums are everything, equal and opposite. It just is. But it's also hard to accept. This eclipse, we are surrendering, really. We are letting that deep, sad knowing melt off our shoulders. We give ourselves permission to put down the heavy and feel lighter as a form of self-love and healing. We do this work so we can rise up into our crowns and make our own original moves towards the ultimate self-actualization. That is the theme of the Aries North Node eclipses, which have just begun as of April 19th of this year. So what were you initiating around those days of April 19th and 20th this year? That is the sort of thing that lies ahead for the next 18 months, whatever that may have been and is still to be. And we can feel that a lot of change is cosmically afoot. And the moon in Scorpio does not do change. It is intransigently all-feeling and profound in its eternal plumbing of the depths. But this full moon lunar eclipse in Scorpio ends one cycle of release and engages another. Jupiter is about to ingress in May into Taurus and warm up by opposition this Scorpio sector of our charts. And the South Node is then headed for Libra. And the new focus of renewal will be around the fundamental ways that we relate to each other. Taste changes, and it's high time we had more fairness and balance in this garish and gauche world. This full moon lunar eclipse, something is dying, and it has to. So we're letting it go. A part of our own passion and drive is changing, and we will move forward with refreshed inspiration and renewed desire. But for now, we just have to let go and be with the truth of the grief of whatever it is being put to rest. It's okay to mourn the past, just so long as our hearts still shine toward the future. And so I will use this charged sense of martial purpose to inform our personal horoscopes this full moon lunar eclipse in Scorpio syzygy. It's about letting go, remember. I request rising signs be used for these horoscopes as the ascendant speaks to the first house of self, the physical you and person, but your sun or moon sign works just fine. So, this full moon lunar eclipse in Scorpio cycle for all 12 signs. Aries. Not all we do together is meant to last. Taurus. Boundaries encourage love between sovereigns. Gemini. Even a disciplined routine changes. Cancer. Creativity implies constant renewal. Leo. Generational traumas are ended with one. Virgo. Both expression and environment evolve. Libra. Even a virtuoso begins again. Scorpio. Only a fully open palm can totally receive. Sagittarius. I am the inner sailor, storm and sea. Capricorn. Those around you change as you do. Aquarius. I am allowed to be seen in new light. Pisces. My beliefs shift as I experience truth. So let those horoscopes do like Scorpio and sink in deep while we take a short break for a word from our sponsors.
Life can change in an instant. For many wheelchair users, the struggle to push forward is a daily challenge.
After years of development and countless prototypes, we created Rib Grips, the revolutionary wheelchair hand rim covers with built-in ribs for ultimate grip and comfort.
No more slick surfaces, no more heat burns, just pure, reliable grip. Rib Grips, empowering you to push forward with ease. Rib Grips, get a grip on your freedom. Discover the difference. Visit ribgrips.com and use promo code GRIP today.
And here we are back in the stars, transitioning into the top 3 transits or celestial happenings to follow over the next 2 weeks. First, Venus enters Cancer on Sunday, May 7th at 9:20 a.m. Central Standard Time, and the sweet planet of love and beauty remains in the moon's home sign of Cancer for almost a month until June 5th. For whatever it's worth, since most of my audience is in Texas, when Venus changes signs and enters Cancer, which is the first ingress of a planet since the moon in Scorpio, she will be on the rising, literally at the horizon here at the very moment of her shift. It's kind of beautiful. It will be too light to actually see her, but just know that she is there. And her being there will be good. Venus does just fine in Cancer. She is one of the triplicity rulers of water signs, so the planet of joy and pleasure is quite able and with power here in the moon's home sign. Venus and the moon together comprise a majority of the feminine archetype in astrology, so it stands to reason that one would function well in the other's domain. Like, for example, the moon itself also exalts in Venus's home sign of Taurus. So Venus also rules the first decan of Cancer, which is a Chaldean term. Look it up if you're interested. But it means that the first 10 degrees of Cancer have a special affinity for Venus. And that also means this ingress should feel nice at first. It should feel good and right, especially because Mars has been there, fallen and alone in Cancer, which it doesn't like. Angsty misery likes company, so a reasonably bona fide Venus bringing that feminine flair in this feminine sign will be welcomed by a fallen, sullen Mars. They share triplicity rulership here, actually, which is good, and Venus and Mars together are just plain sexy. In Cancer, they are sexy like, I made you dinner, I washed your sheets, I got you health insurance, I babysat your kids, I paid off your debt kind of sexy. Chemistry as mutual acts of devotion and service. That's how to get a Venus, Mars, and Cancer all hot and bothered. Change their tires, clean their house, buy them groceries, invest in their small business, listen to their problems, host their family. It's a real kink, that care and investment sort of demisexual kink. And this is definitely the time for it. That aside, Venus is also just bringing love to an area that has been paining us of late in our transiting sky. Typically, active and energetic Mars has been in a rough spot since August of 2022 when it was doing its retrograde and that whole dance until March. So first frazzled, then anxious, then stalled, and now Mars is likely a bit sad and frustrated. And Mars won't be doing crazy amazing in any sign until it gets to its own home sign of Scorpio, honestly, or at least Virgo maybe. But that's not for months. So we have to make this Venus-Mars co-presence in Cancer count. Giving a shit is sexy right now. So apply energy to channeling emotions. Protect your heart. Care for your family. Ensure your peace and providence through attention. It's a good time to invest in the good and to direct your energy into people and endeavors that you can actually grow if you water them. Because I don't think it's a coincidence that midway through Mercury's retrograde through Venus's sign, Venus changes signs. I think this Mercury retrograde in Taurus is all about how we love and what we fundamentally want, and how that constant and long-standing mode of desire is deepening and what is changing in the fundamental nature of our wishes. Venus was in chatty Gemini recently, mutually exchanging with that Mercury retrograde in Taurus, and now it's joining Mars in Cancer, with that Venus and Mars combo supportively sextiling Mercury in Taurus by that 60-degree angle, meaning there are opportunities for growth. But make no mistake, there are going to be a lot of emotions to act on. Venus and Mars are in Cancer, and thus there is a lot to care about. Perhaps the urgent or emergent sensations guiding us toward present understanding of ourselves even. And Venus in Cancer reminds us that there is a lot of actual power in giving a shit, in knowing what you care about and applying that life-giving energy with confidence. There's a lot of merit in stewarding those who depend on you with attention and grace. Care is king and makes people feel like royalty when received. Energetic investment is the highest kind of vote for. So use this time to prepare your emotional and spiritual channels to receive, because Jupiter is changing signs soon, and will be present in Taurus, Venus's sign, before you know it. The good feeling, abundance on the menu is all soon to be received, and it's not the kind of abundance that you can get purely on purpose. There's some fate here. So all we can do is work and attend and intend in a direction and do right by those we love, as Venus in Cancer would, and trust that the universe will honor our effort and reward us with the gift of whatever it is that we have been seeking, especially after our second transit happens. Mercury stations direct in Taurus on Sunday, May 14th at 10:16 p.m. Central Standard Time at 5 degrees of Taurus, the fixed Earth sign where Mercury will remain for almost a month until it enters its own home sign of Gemini on June 11th. Here we are. Mercury, the tiny planet of communication and expression, stations direct and begins to move forward in Taurus, Venus's yin sign, as we have said, right? And now the mental sands are doing that shifting in the direction that they will ultimately go. So our minds are finally getting right, or our mental stubbornness is yielding to the pressure of wisdom, in Mercury in Taurus's case. No matter how it is felt or how you've been processing it, know that this retrograde has been more than fated, to use that word again. When Jupiter does its own retrograde in Taurus over this next year, it will station at exactly the same degrees as Mercury did, 5 degrees and 15 degrees. So Mercury is now heading direct at 5 degrees of Taurus, the same degree where Jupiter will also later station, right? That means this might feel like really big, or like there is more energy here than is being resolved in Mercury's mere direct station at present. And that's right on point. With Jupiter soon to be here in Taurus, we are absolutely hoping for and feeling those big things. And we're moving into the period of the planet of Mercury, talk, writing, commerce, being direct in the acquisitive and luxurious sign of Taurus. We are calling in what we want now, though we might not be served the whole slice of abundance at once. We can ask for it, right? All of it, and we should. Prayer is more effective than the 21st century makes it seem, and Mercury direct in Taurus is simple and clear and kind and sensual, and it can talk to God or a lover in the same voice. And with ruler Venus in Cancer, our resulting connections and exchanges are going to be meaningful and emotional, or emotionally oriented at least. Try to want what's good for you, actually, if you can. We're going to need what's nourishing here, safe, restorative, and figuring out what that is might be an intense personal journey for some of us. Remember, Mars is still in Cancer here too. So I foresee emotional and healing-oriented breakthroughs and the general mental confidence to weather the internal felt sense storms that may be popping up inside of us or around us. Mercury direct in Taurus seeks centralized understanding, a simple solution, the heart of the matter, if you will. Now that Mercury is stationed direct, we may be able to gather up what previously seemed disparate pieces of a puzzle and then place them correctly into a fitting arrangement that we just didn't see before. Like I have said, we are getting ready to put this Taurus sector of our charts in the spotlight with big man on campus celebrity Jupiter incoming. So think of Mercury direct in Taurus as leading the party planning committee and contracting all of the vendors for Jupiter's magnificent inauguration. Good things are coming. But we can't avoid facing the truth of errant desire or hard emotion. So there may be some impediments between here and those good things. Aren't there always? Some of our biggest hang-ups may be seriously just internal. We are all working on release and renewal, especially what we've been clinging to for that false security or comfort. And now it's time to kick that shit we know needs to be kicked. The Taurian habit that has to be stopped. Taurus is a hedon. The extra spoon of sugar, the pack of cigarettes, the sedentary lifestyle. Taurus is a freaking hedon, like I said, and it loves what it loves, even past the time that the thing loves Taurus back. A little cream is good. Extra cream every day is a heart attack waiting to happen. So trust your head with Mercury direct as soon as the station occurs, and know you'll be making emotional and personal progress no matter the choices you make. Once Mercury clears its shadow and passes 15 degrees of Taurus, it's going to be more enjoyable. and we will be past the Taurian hurdles and facing forward. So do that caretaking and giving. Rest well, sleep enough, eat well, organic even, real, write poetry, make a bucket list, create a Michelin star recipe, spend time with your family, get outside and put your toes in the grass, plant something. And above all, commit to what is growing you. Especially because our third transit then happens. Number 3, Jupiter enters Taurus on Tuesday, May 16th at 12:01 p.m. Central Standard Time, where the expansive, generous planet of higher purpose and the greater good remains for just over a year, until May 25th of 2024, when Jupiter enters Gemini. So, our giant spiritual and wisdom-oriented planet, the jovial Jupiter, is finally here in Taurus, the second sign in the zodiac represented by the bull and ruled by lesser benefic Venus. I'm doing repetition, by the way, so we all eventually remember. But anyway, let's all enjoy a big, sweet scoop of Venus-flavored Jupiter. That's something a human being can certainly get into. Taurus, fixed earth, brings stability, fertility, sensuality, plenty, certainty, bounty, and sustainable joy at its finest. Taurus is about enoughness and the attracting of the very abundance that you want to receive. With Jupiter in this sign for a year, look for some magnification of all Taurian topics and some growing success in whatever area of your chart that Taurus represents. Listen, shit has been absolutely wild here in normally steady good time Taurus. Shock and awe-bringer Uranus has been making a ruckus in the sign since 2018 on its slow, transformative, and sometimes painful transit through our fixed earth sign. And the north node of the moon has brought its hunger and attraction to the abnormally kinetic mix since late 2021. And now, the cherry on top, Mercury did its latest retrograde there in Taurus just days ago. Yes, Jupiter's entrance definitely represents some relief, some support, some patronage of sorts, some stability, and some cash and prizes. Of course, when Jupiter enters Taurus, it enters into a dynamic 90-degree square aspect with shadowy power player Pluto at 0 degrees of Aquarius. So be sure to play cards wisely in mid-May and not get too overconfident with the extra help or the resources that you've been given. Jupiter and Pluto squares can make or break, and they can break the bank. They're power movers and shakers, and Taurus is about tangible goods, so you never know exactly what their fusion is going to do to the Aquarian collective. Don't let all your hopes be dashed if you feel like this Jupiter and Taurus transit starts out feeling more like a crisis than a cakewalk. It can and will improve, and knowing Taurus, there will be cake. Because Venus, ruler of Taurus, is going to do her retrograde this summer in Leo, square to Jupiter, and that can feel like a nice spice. The right amount of heat, the exciting nudge in a bright and bountiful personal direction, something individually wonderful coming to pass over a period of months. But it won't be easy. It will require effort, and many of the best things do. Jupiter represents our social gifts and benefits. Those come over time, and often with significant learning and spiritual growth involved. Wisdom is obtained in actual experience, and in the case of Taurus, by an investment of love and with a personal touch. We grow that which we tend, and Taurus is a constant gardener. Speaking of growth and learning over time, let's move into the quality of time over the next 2 weeks following this full moon lunar eclipse in Scorpio lunation. Those weeks will feel uncontrollable, intense, all-consuming, cleansing, and inevitable. Which brings us into our do's and don'ts for this full moon in Scorpio lunar eclipse syzygy. Do let go. Actually, though, don't pretend you're quitting it and then literally keep doing it. Do surrender to the truth of your emotions. There are lots right now. Don't get lost in your emotions. Moods will always, always change. Do Allow yourself to set boundaries. No energy vampires. Don't get too snappy or feisty because you're all hyped up on eclipse emotions. And before we sign off, let me remind you that I am now officially offering natal chart or other chart readings to private clients. You can visit my website, www.texastrology.com, to book yours or get a gift certificate for a friend. If you use code ILOVEYOU, that gets you $100 off of your session or 50%, because I love you so very much for continually listening to this podcast. So please like, follow, subscribe, review, and share this podcast liberally on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you share content. Thanks for you guys who do. Until next time. That's it for this episode, folks. Meet me here every full and new moon for more cosmic wisdom. For now, you can find me on Instagram at Rachel Ruth Tate and at Texastrology, or between the pages of my book, Meditations on Being, available on Amazon and wherever else you purchase books.
This has been a Rogue Media podcast.
Life can change in an instant. For many wheelchair users, the struggle to push forward is a daily challenge.
After years of development and countless prototypes, we created Rib Grips, the revolutionary wheelchair hand rim covers with built-in ribs for ultimate grip and comfort.
No more slick surfaces, no more heat burns, just pure, reliable grip. Rib Grips, empowering you to push forward with ease. Rib Grips, get a grip on your freedom. Discover the difference. Visit ribgrips.com and use promo code GRIP today.
In a world where dreams meet reality, there exists a place where your business can flourish. That place is Shopify. Imagine having the power to craft your online store with tools that make it as easy as a gentle breeze. Whether you're an artisan of handmade wonders, a creator of digital treasures, or a curator of the latest trends, Shopify stands by your side. With its customizable templates, seamless integrations, and support that's always there, your dream store is just a heartbeat away. Join millions of visionaries around the globe and let Shopify guide you on your journey. Visit roguemedianetwork.com/Shopify. That's roguemedianetwork.com/SHOPIFY. And embark on your free trial. Shopify, where your commerce dreams come to life.